Oxford Economics says. What does that mean? Well, elbows up was nothing but a charade to get votes.
Disruptive America that I fought for.
Weird thing to happen. Hey, some good news finally. Well, somewhat good news. Canada has effectively suspended almost all of its retaliatory tariffs on U.S. products. So does that mean there's some easing up on the tariffs? Maybe the trade war is going to mellow out a bit? There's going to be, are we in some shock and awe right now? Possibly, but almost all. Almost all. What do they mean, almost all? Well, turns out Carney quietly removes tariffs off U.S. Elbows up was nothing but a lie for votes. We warned you. So this is the Elevate podcast. They do great work. He's from Nova Scotia, I do believe. He's an eastbound kid. He does really good work, and he's about to reveal exactly what we've been telling you, that this tariff war, the trade war, all the rhetoric, all the elbows up was just bogus marketing to gain your votes. They're tricking you. They're abusing you. They're manipulating you for cheap votes to think that they're going after Trump, going after America, and stymieing against these trade war deficits that were going to happen regardless. So listen to this.
Well, I hate to say I told you so, but Canada's new tariffs on U.S. dropped to nearly zero with exemptions, Oxford Economics says. What does that mean? Well, elbows up was nothing but a charade to get votes. It's like when I did a video on March 28th calling this out, reading the G0 article, which is connected to the Eurasia Group, which is connected to Diana Fox, Mark Carney's wife, and as well as Gerald Butts, who is the head of Mark Carney's campaign. And this is what they had to say.
Nationalist sentiment north of the border in the run-up to the April 28th elections. However, I expect Ottawa will quietly fold shortly after the vote to ensure the ongoing relations with the U.S. remain.
That article was written by the president of the Eurasia Group, and that's what he predicted. Because from an economic perspective, elbows up was not the right way to go. Diplomacy was always the answer, and that's what we've been championing. But Mark Carney saying, elbows up, we're going to show Donald Trump what's up. Then he went to the White House and did absolutely nothing, but capitulated. And now here we are. They quietly are reducing those tariffs, quietly taking away tariffs because it's bad for Canada. And then the people like me who said, bad idea. Well, we were ridiculed. Now this is what you voted for. This is what you get. You're getting the exact same government.
So I've been saying this within our Canadian government. I've been saying that these tariffs are used exploitively to our own people and marketed in a way that Carney could take advantage of to earn the votes. But I also say to the United States and people that assume that, Trump's tariffs are, only against countries and we're finally making deals and things are going to turn around for the better. You could have made deals without these tariffs. The tariffs didn't need to happen. The tariffs didn't need to exist. But the reason they put the tariffs on is to control the populations of people. It's not really effective on the governments. It's not effective on the people that they should be talking to, that they could pick up the phone and have a discussion. Even Trump himself has always stated that, hey, we can resolve anything by just picking up the phone and talking to that person. What happened to that? What happened to that? We didn't go through with that. We decided to put tariffs on everything from coffee to cough syrup to cars to everything, and just let everything burn to a crisp and just deal with the outcome later. And now you got American companies that are begging because their inventory is backlogged. You have ship ports that are turning up empty, which means that there's job losses in that industry and job losses with truckers because they're not getting inventory to the store shelves. It's just an absolute mess. It's an absolute mess. And they could have resolved this. They didn't need to have the tariffs to begin with. They could have easily called each other, got a deal forward, and done. Here, Poilievre even mentioned that way before Mark Carney was even introduced. He mentioned that beforehand that, hey, if Trump's serious about these tariffs, then maybe we should go down there and renegotiate our trade agreement, the USMCA. We should renegotiate. What happened to that? What happened to that? And now here's Mark Carney, after damage has already been done, after the effect is already taking place. We're seeing automotive plants shutting down. We're seeing people losing their jobs. We're seeing high increase in prices of food and everything else. After the damage has already been done, now rolling back the tariffs and saying, oh, it's no big deal. So, again, congratulations, Canada. You got duped. I gotta keep saying it. I know I sound like a broken record and a Debbie Downer, but you got duped. You got duped.
No elbows up, capitulation to the US, and just gonna continue running up the debt as per usual with no budget in sight. And don't get it twisted. Reciprocal tariffs was a bad idea when the Liberals proposed it, and I said it was a bad idea when the Conservatives were proposing it as well. Terrible economic policy. But it was the only way they said we're going to fight Donald Trump. Well, that was all a lie, and here we are, and this is what you voted for. A little bit more time of this Liberal Party taking all your money.
Yo. And that was the whole projection from the get-go. That's why they wanted the tariffs to exist. They could have easily resolved this. Even, I don't give Trump credit, unless credit's due, but to Trump's defense, when he mentioned about the tariffs, the simplest thing Canada could have done was deal with the fentanyl crisis and the border security issue. That was the big component of these tariffs. That was the big component of why we were in this mess. And the minute that Justin Trudeau announced that there was going to be an increase and he was going to elect a fentanyl czar, Trump eased back. Trump eased back on the tariffs. And then when Daniel Smith went to Washington and spoke to Trump directly, he also rolled back on the tariffs. So there is ways to actually prevent this. There's easily ways to prevent this. But no, Mark Carney did not do that because him and his team, his cohorts of NGOs and other traitors to this nation, abused you. So here's Mark Nixon saying, elbows up. All you got played like fools. 2 weeks before the election, the tariffs were removed, except for essential items like food. So remember how National Post, they said that almost all the tariffs have been removed? Well, this is the almost part. Why would they restrict food? Why wouldn't they restrict, luxury yachts? Because I'm sure a lot of Canadians are working, endlessly to put food on their plates and keep a roof over their heads. They're concerned about tariffs on yachts. I'm sure they're concerned about that. Or tariffs on caviar. But no, they're going to keep it on food? And Mark Nixon saying now grocery prices going up. So when Mark Carney says elbows up, he really meant was grocery prices are going up. So essentials like food are still increasing. The damage has already been done. But hey, as the saying goes, you made your bed, now you have to lie in it. So here, this is from CP24. They announced that grocery store chains like Loblaws and Zehrs and Walmart and Sobeys and Metro, they all just came forward to the customers that, hey, we're going to increase prices because of this absurdity tariff war that shouldn't have existed. But look, watch.
Welcome back. The country's biggest grocery store chain is warning that a surge of price hikes related to tariffs is on the way.
The prices just keep growing up. CTV's Kamal Karamali is live with more on this. So, Kamal, tariff surge. This is what Loblaw says is going to hit Canadians at the grocery store very soon. Explain what we're talking here.
Yeah, we were almost expecting this to come in the next few weeks or months, but now we're hearing from Loblaw's CEO that this could happen in the next couple of weeks. We're talking about a markup in many items, including pantry items, health and beauty products, as well as natural foods, taking place at the 2,400 grocery stores and pharmacies that Loblaw Company operates across Canada. That includes No Frills and Superstore. So Loblaw's CEO.
By the way, I am a bit skeptical when CEO Loblaw's Galen Weston, who is a notorious billionaire prick himself, he's one of our very own here in Canada, who, by the way, sits on the board at Sick Kids Hospital. Did you know that? He sits on the board at Sick Kids Hospital because, you know, all of his background in medicine. Like our own little Bill Gates here. So I'm skeptical when they say that, oh, it's all related to the tariffs. It's all related to U.S. Donald Trump, even though Loblaws is one of the biggest retail chains in the country and has billions, upwards to trillions of dollars in net worth. So I don't put the blame all on the tariffs, but understandably, the tariffs don't help in this measure. And there probably might be some price gouging with this. But again, Loblaws, the Carney government, liberals, they all played you. They all played you.
CEO in a LinkedIn post late Wednesday said the mega grocer has been aggressive in marking which products have been affected by tariffs, which have been limited to roughly 1,000 items. But he adds in the next week or two, that will increase to roughly 3,000 items that'll see a price increase because of tariffs. And in the next 2 months, it could mean more than 6,000 items that could see a price increase. And so it's worth noting that the CEO says if it hits that 6,000 item mark that could see a price increase, that would still be a small chunk of the roughly 800,000 items it has in stock here, or rather 80,000 items. Read that one wrong.
Yeah.
And Kamal, how much more can Canadians expect to be paying for food?
Yeah, that depends on what you're looking at and what sort of items you're looking at buying. You know, you could see a few cents to a few dollars in the next couple of weeks. Once again, about 3,000 items will see a surplus, a markup rather, in its price as well. But what we do know is that the Walmart, we're also hearing from them that they are warning that they are not immune from President Donald Trump's tariffs. They plan on raising prices on some items as Trump's global trade war sends the company's costs higher later this month rather. So already going to see some increases from Loblaws the next couple of weeks, guys, and that could also result in you know, more thousands of more items being increased, as well as at Walmart in the next month or so as well.
Okay, Kamal, can I just quickly ask you here, do we know if these are non-Canadian items, because we're buying so much Canadian stuff these days? Could that be impacted though too?
Yeah, primarily. So it's a really complicated answer because also some stuff that manufacture these goods, not necessarily are produce these goods, could see a trickle down effect as well in some of the markups. So we're talking about health and beauty products that are primarily, you know, for example, Canadian, but also require some parts of it to come from United States. So it's a pretty complicated answer, but to kind of wrap it up, yes, a little bit of the United States, but also some Canadian products as well.
It's a very complicated issue, but I can sum it up easily. You're screwed. You're screwed. People are going to feel the burden of this regardless of the outcome. Again, these tariffs didn't need to exist. Did not need to exist. We could have easily hammered out something. We could have easily had, if we had a strong argument on this side of the country, or even Donald Trump's case, if he, you know, was actually Mr. Art of the deal, why did he not reach out to Canada and contact and negotiate it? And could have hammered out a better trade deal. But here we are in this situation that now retailers are now taking advantage of this. Again, I don't necessarily agree that it's all because of the tariffs, that we have seen price gouging before. We have seen it partially with inflation, and things are just getting spiraling out of control. But now they're taking advantage of this to make food prices more expensive. And again, I don't see Carney, I don't see Chrystia Freeland, I don't see any politician out there rushing to the needs of this growing issue, because this is affecting everybody. This is affecting everybody. I don't, as much as people want to talk about it, especially now with, being close to Pride, I know there's going to be a lot of talk about transgender and LGBTQ and the gay community and safety and security for the disproportionalized. Let me tell you, if you don't have the basic essentials of groceries, you can't afford that. That is a country that is falling off a cliff and hitting rock bottom. That is not good. That is not good. And even as he said that a lot of the Canadian goods, even though you think you're buying Canadian, they're still importing ingredients. They're still importing parts of it to manufacture it. Like, ketchup. Oh, you buy French's ketchup because it's Canadian. Well, where do you think they grow the tomatoes? Oh, that's actually grown in Mexico. Oh, I'm buying this soda. It says it's got the maple leaf, so it's made in Canada. Well, the bottle's made in Canada, but the actual production of it is in the United States. So, again, you're just screwed. You're just screwed in this, and people are biting the bullet harshly, and the worst is yet to come. The worst is yet to come. So I think this, I'm not being celebratory that, finally Mark Carney, lifted the regulatory tariffs on the United States, and things are doing well. He met with the president. I'm not jumping in glee because I know this is uneventful. Because I know that the problem's already here. The burn's already upon us. And it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. Not to mention inflation, not to mention cost of living, not to mention the domestic problems that are involved with this, let alone this trade war.
Okay.
More to this. But hey, the good news is, London, Ontario-based cricket protein manufacturer Aspire Food Group has been placed in the hands of a receiver. Oh, thank God. We want to make sure that cricket protein is in a safe place so that when Canadians cannot afford basic food, human nourishing food, they can go eat the bugs and, go wander off into the woods in their tents. That's good to know. And it's in Canada, so it's probably Canadian-made crickets. When the basic necessities are a far reach in this country. It's a dystopian happening. Dystopian right now, and it's just going to get worse. With or without these tariffs, but the tariffs don't benefit the greater good. Hey, here at Kitz Corner, we want to thank you, our viewers and our subscribers that tune into Kitz Corner for the latest dives in trending news, political conspiracies, and the craziest of stories. However, being in this business isn't an easy job. Because we're independent, we can dive into stories that the mainstream outlets are afraid to do so. But unfortunately, that doesn't give us the luxury of big advertising or government subsidies. That's why we reach out to you. You can support Kitz Corner and get some cool new threads in the process. Say what? That's right, check out our merch store, where we have a big selection of t-shirts, mugs, stickers, sweaters, bags, and more. All with interesting designs too, like this True North Strong and Free. So if you want to show off your support, go to our website at kitzcorner.net. That's kitzcorner.net. And click the store link at the top of the screen. Or you can scan the QR code provided on screen to get instant access to our merch store. Your support makes a huge difference at what we do here. So why not wear your support too? So go to kitzcorner.net or scan the QR code on your screen to get to our one-of-a-kind Kitz Corner merchandise store. Thank you, and on with the show.